After commencing in November 2020, only once did Terunofuji's second ozeki bid seem remotely in danger. That moment was here, when despite winning for power, he slipped to a fourth January defeat against Onosho. That his own coach, Isegahama, was tasked with announcing this defeat to the crowd was a source of great shame. Teru thus resolved to make swift amends, and won all 5 remaining bouts, to not only keep his ozeki run alive, but make things rather easier this time. And yet, although only 9 March wins were needed, Teru was still performing for the coach he adored. Also, the chief judge charged with endorsing his promotion. The announcement of the Onosho defeat still fresh in his mind, he vowed, "I will not leave my coach with egg on his face again." And so, with the added bravery and grit developed post-injury, Teru set about making solid double figures. From the off, it was clear he had a swagger, that he saw himself as the man to beat, and knew his opponents did too. Current sumo elder Nishikijima said, "As an ex-ozeki, he knows what to do, how to take the belt and use his hips. He fights so as not to lose, and is calm about it." To that, I would add his sumo is more logical than before, that he's patient, and also unafraid to let foes come to him. Such is the increased belief in his defense. We saw that amply in match 1 when, knowing his outside left would be fled, he calmly took inside left instead. "You can rarely fight exactly as planned," Teru would later tell us. "You just do what you can with everything you have." Sumo chairman Hakkaku described him as a model of stability this time, imposing himself on every fight and only losing to the most elaborate of counters. On day 2, he took control by forcing his foe to defend the inside right, then clamping to constrain a smaller man's movement. Day 3 saw him deploy the clamp again, this time to beat Dai-i-shou for the first time in 3. The defending champion promptly panicked once that right locked on, but was pursued to every part of the ring which seemed to offer escape. On day 4, Teru relished the chance to enclose Meisei, leaving his arms prisoners inside those huge biceps. And the way he held firm with those knees suggests they're very much recovered, observed the sumo chairman. He has some weak spots though, as Nemesis Onosho sought to remind us. The way Onosho hit upwards and rocked him from side to side was widely praised and held up as a template for others to follow. Kiribayama tried his best to replicate, but had neither the thrusting prowess nor the grip strength to make it work. For Teru, these lift-outs are a self-affirming thrill, the starkest possible contrast with his wheelchair-bound days 3 years ago, when even visits to the toilet were torture. "That taught me the value of each and every day," he stoically recalled. Another awesome clamp on Mitake Umi took Teru to 2/3 of his ozeki target with 8 matches still to fight, but some awkward rivals still to face, including joint leader Takayasu. We've already analysed the technical cause of this defeat in the link above. His 9th in 10 to a foe who looked certain to outsprint him to glory. But at this stage, the title was barely on Teru's radar. He simply wished to refloat his ozeki campaign, and rejoiced in doing so quickly. Armpit Zone Marauder Myorgiryu double-clamped for the second bout straight, and bested for the 9th time in 10. The following match, though, raised alarm bells. An inspired Shimanoumi, obsessively committed to his game plan, thwarted Teru's outside left completely, then sent him tumbling. Badly, as it turned out. An explosion of pain in the left knee would henceforth require daily injections and the odd hospital visit. With Takayasu stepping out of sight, Teru's mantra of "build a little every day" assumed new importance. He simply had to focus on immediate opponents and grind out those 2 extra wins for promotion. Thankfully, they came quickly in the form of satisfying revenge against Onosho, and then... This dogged display built on the will to survive Tamawashi's most potent weapons, the throat hold and the arm lock, double helpings of each, in the end exploiting the high elbow to shove down hard. That was the magic 33rd win since November, fulfilling the promotion criteria and ensuring the word ozeki entered the headlines above his picture. Job done, perhaps even he thought. But on day 13 he was inspired again by the feat of teenage colleague Terunofuji, whose career spanned no more days than his ozeki run. Faintly sensing the hands of fate on their shoulders, but still rather from a need to inspire than actually deliver, he sent the youngster into his 5th division title fight with the words, "Let's make this a double celebration." Terunofuji's return as divisional champion hours later redoubled Teru's will to keep his end of the bargain. On paper, the 3 strongest men in the competition remained to thwart him. In practice, though, as coach Takashima stated, Teru is stronger than them all. By the time this match began, Takayasu had lost again. And by the time it was finished, in typical smothering fashion, Teru had tied for the overall lead. Now the scenes he had scarce dreamt of in a wheelchair were waiting for his direction. 6 times did I see him sat on our sofa for about an hour, his stablemaster's wife recalls. And 6 times did the master persuade him not to retire. And once he came back, adds coach Ajigawa, the former Aminishiki, while others would have sat out certain training sessions, Teru always did what he could with the youngsters. And it's that sheer commitment to make the best of every day, to improve every day, that's delivered him to this moment. By now, Takayasu had lost 2 bouts straight, making this match Teru's chance to overtake. And he was not in the least spooked by his ozeki opponent, to whom he'd never lost. Asanoyama was beaten for the 5th time in 5, the final shove born from a rush of joy and self-belief. Teru was now sole leader, and sure he could take Takakeisho in the finale. Optimism suddenly reigned, even in the hospital the next morning, as he told treatment partner Midorifuji, "I'll win this title, and then we'll drink some." His knee checked over, he returned to the arena with last July's portrait hanging above, another past achievement to inspire. Next but one was the place where another portrait could have hung, taken instead by Takakeisho's after the playoff he lost. Inspiration, motivation, desire to settle scores, it was all coming together. All he needed now do was deliver. And on that Sunday, March 28, 2021, Terunofuji became the first man to win 3 Emperor's Cups from the ranks of Sekiwake and below. Benefiting this time, we suspect, from Takakeisho's sudden weight loss and drop in pushing force. "Without such enthusiastic support, I could never have done it," Teru said. "I wasn't even conscious of the title until late on, when tying level with Takayasu. I mounted the dohyo with confidence and resolved to give it my all." A sumo wrestler repays his fans by showing real fighting spirit on that dohyo, and I'm relieved right now to have shown everybody my better self. On the day I wrote about his playing the long game, mine was in fact too long. By the time I arrived at his stable, having stopped by others, he'd already gone inside. What I did see, though, was his figure through the window, emitting a loud voice. The kind you hear from a man who can't quite believe his change in fortune. "I've done it!" "Yes," returning ozeki, "you really have."